Hey everybody, welcome to Oklahoma Zone Sports YouTube page. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to go over the latest college football playoff rankings, the penultimate rankings. That means the last ones before it becomes official on Sunday. Not a ton of changes, but probably the most notable one is right here. Alabama is now number 9, Notre Dame number 10. Those two flipped despite both winning, Notre Dame winning on the road at Stanford. Alabama struggled a little bit, but won on the road at Auburn, and the committee said that they felt like that was a more impressive win than Notre Dame beating Stanford on the road. So as it sits right now, Oklahoma stays ranked number 8, and that is a great sign. Things could still change, but if there would have been movement this time, there would be a little more concern for the Sooners. It's looking good. Hosting a playoff game still a little bit up in the air. But Alabama right here at number 9, as it sits, it would be a rematch in Norman between the Crimson Tide and the Sooners, and then Notre Dame and A&M, because Texas A&M, after falling to Texas, dropped from number 3 all the way to number 7 in the rankings, and you can see all the teams that were behind them slid up. So Georgia now number 3, Texas Tech now number 4, so they would host a playoff game as it stands right now. Ole Miss moves up a spot to number 6 despite losing Lane Kiffin, of course, to LSU. They still moved up, and the committee didn't punish them too much. And then you see the placeholders here for conference champions at number 12 and number 11. So in the rankings right now, BYU is still number 11, 11-1 coming out of the Big 12, and then Miami sits at number 12, 10-2. And remember, Miami beat this Notre Dame team head-to-head in the second game of the season. Actually, it might have been the very first game of the season. So the Canes have some argument there for thinking they should jump Notre Dame. A lot can happen in this bracket. Here's the mayhem that's ahead of the bracket here is the conference championship weekend. BYU plays Texas Tech. If the Cougars win that game, they would jump into the top 12. They would be guaranteed a spot, and they would likely jump way up, potentially even hosting a playoff game. Texas Tech would slide, but not too far, so that eliminates one of these at-large spots. Looking at you, Notre Dame, down there. Another thing that's a little bit drama, the ACC championship between Virginia and Duke. Duke is 7-5. If Duke wins the ACC championship game, there's a good chance that conference gets left off of the bracket entirely. So the winner of North Texas and Tulane, that would be the highest group of 5 champion. They would grab one of these, number 12, number 11 spots. Both those teams are ranked. But then James Madison is ranked number 25 in the latest ranking. Another group of 5 team. We could have 2 group of 5 teams in the bracket if Duke beats Virginia. Now, if Virginia wins that game, then they're going to be sitting right here at the number 11 spot. Now, Alabama and Georgia will play in the SEC championship. And in the past, the committee's talked about not punishing teams for playing on conference championship weekend. But the interim commissioner said that that's not necessarily set in stone this year. If Alabama loses that football game, especially if they lose big, the Crimson Tide could end up falling off the bracket entirely. That would open the door for a team like BYU, or more likely Miami, to move up a little bit. And if Miami and Notre Dame end up next to each other, then you wonder how much weight goes into that game the two played against each other. If Alabama wins the SEC championship game against Georgia, Bulldogs aren't going to fall off the bracket. How high up will Alabama go? That is one instance that could threaten Oklahoma's chances of hosting a playoff game, because Alabama would shoot up the board into a higher position, maybe hosting, probably hosting if you win the SEC conference, but definitely ranked a little bit higher. Indiana, Ohio State play in the Big Ten Championship. That'll be fun to watch. That's going to decide the number 1 overall seed, but that's not going to cause a ton of movement. Still, a lot of mayhem to happen on this bracket, but if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're feeling really good about staying at number 8, especially when the committee moved Notre Dame down a spot to 10. There was a little wonder if they would move Notre Dame ahead of Oklahoma. Instead, they slide down a spot. Alabama here. Oklahoma owns the tiebreaker out of Alabama. So Oklahoma in a good spot. Texas, by the way, moved up to number 13 in the latest ranking. It's just really, really hard looking at the bracket here to find a way for Texas to find its way into the playoffs. This is what it's looking right now. If you know college football, you know that there's going to be some mayhem in conference championship weekend. A lot of this can change, but I'd say probably about the top 8 teams here, all the way up to Oklahoma, should be feeling really comfortable heading into the final weekend.